Next question is in the name of Deputy Connolly.
Thank you, Cahirley. Just to ask the Minister in relation to the DEIS scheme, and the DEIS scheme stands for Delivery of Equality of Opportunity Schools Programme. And when is that programme going to be reinstated? Thank you.
As the Deputy is aware, the review of the DEIS programme is currently underway, and it is my intention that a new action plan for educational inclusion will be published by the end of this year. I also wish to advise the Deputy that the current DEIS scheme has not been suspended, but the changes to the current programme will not be made pending the outcome of the review. The current DEIS action plan was published in 2005 and now provides support to 836 schools, serving a total of 169,500 pupils. There are 103,000 at primary level, 66,000 at second level. The DEIS programme has been implemented in partnership with schools and other government departments and agencies such as TUSLA, who manage the homeschool liaison and school completion programmes, and the Department of Social Protection, who is responsible for school meals programme. The review is looking at all aspects of DEIS, including the identification process for the inclusion of schools in the programme, which I think is the Deputy's concern, the range and impact of different elements of the school supports programme, and the scope for increased integration of services provided by other departments and agencies in order to improve effectiveness. As part of the review, targeted measures in a number of key areas will be considered. These include supporting school leadership, networks and clusters for DEIS teachers in schools, teaching methodologies, exploring ways in which the work of schools could be better integrated with other state supports within the community, and in consultation with ministers upon making greater use of homeschool community liaison. I intend that innovative measures such as these, which are shown to work well in improving results for disadvantaged children and students, can form pilot schemes under a new school support programme. The number of additional schools to be included in the new programme will be determined by a new identification process for the purpose, which is currently in development. Subject to government approval, it is intended to begin to implement actions arising from the updated plan in the 2017-2018 school year.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy, your response.
Minister, I welcome the reply, but I have to say I'm disappointed. I raised this with you at a recent meeting and you clarified it to me it would be the end of the year, which was a little bit of progress further to a question I put back in the 16th of May, a parliamentary question, where no deadline was given. So now you're given a deadline of the end of the year. But I have to say, DEIS took on no new schools from 2009, and I'm going to use my 39 seconds to refer to the Merlin Woods Primary School in East Galway, which the east of the city. And just listen to the statistics for this school. 85% of our pupils come from non-English speaking backgrounds. Approximately 1/4 of our parents are lone parents and live in local authority housing. 75% of our parent body is unemployed, and it goes on. And it says, a whole school evaluation was conducted in June 2014 and gave superb feedback. However, we are at breaking point, and they are trying to provide a school service without the benefit of DEIS, which other schools in the area have. This is a clear breach of equality legislation here, Minister, and I would ask, what is going to happen to that school pending your review?
Thank you, Deputy. We can get you back in. Minister.
Well, the position is that we are now opening this process to new applications, but only when we have a new process that can assess every school on an equitable basis. And the Department is developing just such a model, which I hope will be in force from the next school year. Now, that will be, if you like, a statistical model in the sense that we'll use objective data from the census, and as you know, information is collected about people's income, and various aspects of their occupation and their position, and that provides a very useful, if you like, snapshot of the school and the pupils from which it's drawn. So that, coupled with data on things like reading and numeracy skills, will be used in a very clear way so that every school will know it's being treated fairly. And I think that's really important, because there's been a lot of friction about why were some schools excluded and why weren't others. We do need objective criteria, and that's what this will deliver. And obviously a school like the one you described will be a priority for that approach.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy.
It's difficult to avoid the conclusion that DEIS hasn't taken on any new schools to avoid spending extra money. And I'm not sure why it's taken so long. 6 years later, the evaluation still hasn't been carried out. And yet, when I look at review of national and international reports on literacy and numeracy, the Department of Education Inspectorate, they refer to numerous reviews in different language of DEIS, the evaluation of DEIS and so on, Appendix 4, the achievements and characteristics of pupils attending rural schools, DEIS 2013, and another one here, 2014. So 6 years later, how come the evaluation has not been completed, number one? Number two, when you say it will be the next school year, could that be September of this year? Why is there a difficulty not having the review carried out after 6 years of delay and a school like this, and there are many other schools like it, who are crying out for assistance? Could that new system be in place for September of this year? Thank you.
Deputy Minister. Your final response.
Well, first of all, obviously the budget provision has been made for this year, and there are 2,500 additional teachers and 860 additional SNAs being provided in our schools to provide support. So there is a clear commitment to increase the support for education, and DEIS schools will be recipients of that. It's not true. What we're doing now is reviewing the whole programme to see can we do better in DEIS schools, and I think that has come into sharp relief. That although there has been significant improvement in both literacy and retention levels, DEIS schools haven't succeeded in closing the gap with other schools, and we do need to look afresh. Are there innovations we could bring in? Are there new things we could do in terms of teaching methodologies, our leadership in the schools, or supports of one sort or another? And that's what I am looking at. And I think that needs to be done. So, DEIS isn't, if you like, stationary and we leave it for all time. We're doing a review. We will do the part of introducing new schools, but more importantly, in my view, we'll make sure that we're not missing out on initiatives based on perhaps international experience that would bring better outcomes in these schools.
Thank you, Minister.